new tourism minister, that's Patricia de Lille, has advised the SA Tourism Board to scrap the controversial Tottenham Hotspur sponsorship deal. And she says the deal is not in the best interests of South Africans and has not been budgeted for. Now, the nearly R1 billion proposed deal would have seen Spurs promote South Africa as a tourist destination. eNCA's Heidi Giokos has been following that story for us, and she joins us now live to give us an update. Heidi, good evening and welcome. Good to have you on the show. I mean, let's talk about the minister declaring the deal both invalid and unlawful. Tell us more.
Yes, so I think this was a massive deal that was brought to the South Africans' attention. Everybody was so confused. How is Tottenham Hotspur R1 billion deal going to be boosting South African tourism? How is this whole deal going to work? There were many red flags around this particular deal. And now with the newly appointed minister, Patricia de Lille, she was tasked to basically look at this deal and figure out whether or not it's going to help South Africa in any way or if it's going to be a waste of money. And that is the reality. Upon legal advice, the minister has found that this is a deal that is unlawful and invalid. There are three main reasons why the minister has found this. The first one being the fact that it does not align with our constitution and parts of the PFMA Act. Secondly, this amount that is being used basically looks at it being as a tender, but what are the services that we are requiring from this particular tender, if I can call it that. And the third one being this deal had to be approved prior to the minister's approval, and we do know that the minister did not approve this. Therefore, the legal opinion is that it's illegal and invalid and it needs to be completely stopped. Let's listen to the minister further elaborating on why this deal will not go ahead.
This matter has been marred by a lot of controversy and has raised many questions. And we need to resolve this matter decisively and in the best interest of the people of South Africa as soon as possible. As a country, when we enter into such massive partnerships, it is vital that we are able to fully be accountable, that we are transparent and can answer South Africans clearly and honestly. So based on the board chairperson's interim response that I received this morning, my advice to the South African Tourism Board is that this proposal may as well be stopped completely.
Heidi, with that being said, is there a time frame to the minister's recommendation?
Yes, so she's given the board up to the 29th of March to finalise this deal. And when I say finalise, I mean for them to put a stop to any kind of talks that SA Tourism was having with Tottenham Hotspur. And the other big question here is whether or not the board can go ahead with this deal, despite the fact that the minister has advised against it and has called for a stop to it. The minister is saying the only way this is actually possible is if they head to the courts and they argue in a courtroom to say we would like to interdict this decision. We feel as though this decision is not the right decision, and this is why we feel this deal should go ahead. But ultimately, it's going to be very difficult for SA Tourism to say, actually, this is how it's going to bring in money. The minister also highlighting the fact that South African money should be used appropriately, and it could be used for any other form or way to boost tourism in this country, and not some deal that still to this day nobody really understands how that was actually going to work. Before we listen to what the minister had to say about this, we did try and get a response from SA Tourism CEO and SA Tourism as a whole, and they've said that they have to go back and review the minister's decision, and this is why they cannot speak. But let's listen to those timeframes by the minister.
In my initial letter to them, I've given them until the letter I wrote to them on the 22nd of March. I gave them until the 29th of March to respond. So after the 29th of March, I will then finally close this matter once and for all. But for now, this morning I received an interim response from the board. And then the complete final response will come on the 29th.
Thank you so much, Heidi Giokos, for this update on that briefing by, of course, Minister Patricia de Lille on the very latest on the Tottenham Hotspur deal. Hearing from the minister saying it is scrapped and it will not be approved because it's been held both invalid and unlawful. All right, let's bring you